Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to crack open the world of ethical hacking. We're going inside the mind of a professional penetration tester by looking at what it takes to get one of the toughest certifications out there, the OSCP. And that journey starts with a course called Pen 200. Try harder. This is it. This is the unofficial motto, the entire philosophy behind the OSCP certification. And it's not just some cheesy catchphrase. It's a way of life. It means when you hit a dead end, and you will, you don't just stop. You dig deeper, you think weirder, and you just keep pushing. Get this. This quote comes from an actual pen test, and it just perfectly sums up that try harder mindset. A hacker was targeting this company that seemed like a ghost online. But then they found it, a single post on a stamp collecting forum by an employee using their work email. That tiny little thread was all it took to unravel the entire network. See, hacking isn't always about writing crazy code. It's about seeing connections that nobody else does. Okay, so before we even touch a single tool, we have to get our heads straight. We need to understand the why of all this. The goal here isn't to break things for the sake of it. It's actually to make things stronger. And that right there, that's the huge difference between a criminal and an ethical hacker. So what is a penetration test really? Well, you can think of it as a fire drill for a company's digital security. It's a completely authorized, simulated attack. Your job is to find all the holes in the security fence before the real bad guys do. You're basically a high-tech security auditor who gets paid to think like a criminal. Now, the journey through Pen 200 is a total marathon. You start with the basics, the textbook and the videos. Then you get your hands dirty with exercises, and then they just let you loose in this massive, custom-built lab network filled with vulnerable machines. Your one and only job? Hack everything. Get the highest level of access, what we call root or system, on every single box you can find. All right, so what are the actual weapons of choice here? Well, for a pen tester, the most powerful tool in the arsenal is the command line. Seriously, it's not just some scary black screen with a blinking cursor. It's more like a wizard's spell book. Every command is a little spell, and when you start chaining them together, you can make some serious magic happen. This right here, this is the hacker's home turf. Forget all the fancy windows and buttons. The real power is in the text. The beauty of it is how you can take a bunch of simple, little tools and string them together to make the computer do exactly what you want, in ways no graphical program could ever dream of. Okay, just look at this. I know it might look like total nonsense, but this one line of text is telling a whole story. First, it reads a giant log file. Then it finds only the lines with one specific IP address. After that, it cuts out just the web page that person visited. And finally, it counts how many times they visited each unique page. Boom. In seconds, you've turned a mountain of data into one single powerful clue. That's the power we're talking about. So how do you even begin to size up a target? You start by scanning its ports. The best way to think about it is like you're walking down a digital street and you're checking every single door and window in a building. You're just trying to see which ones are unlocked. Those open ports, they're your potential ways in. Now, there's a really important rule we need to talk about, and it's about a crazy powerful tool called Metasploit. In the practice labs, they want you to use it all the time, learn everything it can do. But in the final exam, you can only use it on one machine. Why? Because they need to know that you know how an exploit actually works, not just that you know how to push a button in a program. Okay, so we've got the mindset, we've got the tools. Let's put it all together and walk through the basic blueprint of an attack. It's not random. It's a very logical flow, a sort of kill chain that takes you from just looking around to having total control. Almost every single successful attack follows these basic steps. First, you find a crack in the armor, a vulnerability. Then you use an exploit to wiggle your way through it. That gives you your first foothold, some basic control. But you're not done. From there, you work to escalate your privileges, to climb the ladder until you have that all-powerful root or system access. Right? That first step seems like the hardest, doesn't it? How do you find a weakness? Well, it all starts with homework. You have to gather information before you even think about launching an attack. And this process is split into two very different approaches. First, there's passive gathering. Think of yourself as a detective. You're using Google, social media, public records, anything you can find without ever actually touching the target's network. They don't even know you exist. But then you switch to active gathering. Now you're making noise. You're knocking on those digital doors with tools like Nmap, directly poking and prodding their systems. Finding a weakness is one thing, but actually using it to your advantage is something else entirely. Exploitation. That's the art of turning a theoretical problem on paper into a very real, very practical doorway into a system. A buffer overflow is a classic example of this. Imagine a program has a tiny box, a buffer, designed to hold your name. But what if you give it a name that's 1,000 characters long? Well, that data overflows the box and starts spilling into the memory next to it, potentially overwriting the program's real instructions with your own malicious code. Just like that, you're in control.
So, you're in. You've got access. Mission accomplished, right? Wrong. Not even close. For a professional penetration tester, this is actually where the real work starts. Getting in is cool, but the thing you're actually getting paid for is documenting exactly how you did it.
And I cannot stress this enough, you document everything. Every command, every result, every dead end. You take screenshots, you annotate them, because I promise you, deep into a 24-hour exam, your brain is going to be fried. You will forget things, but your notes won't fail you. They're the single most important tool you have. And you have to burn this into your brain. The report is the product. Your amazing technical skills might get you in, but it's your ability to clearly explain what you did that makes you a professional. That report is your reputation on a piece of paper. It has to be perfect. And a great report isn't one size fits all. You're writing for two totally different groups. You've got the executive summary for the bosses, the C-suite. It's high-level, plain English. Then you have the technical detail section for the IT and security teams. That's the nitty-gritty, a step-by-step recipe they can follow to see exactly what you did and, more importantly, how to fix it. So all of this, the mindset, the command line magic, the meticulous note-taking, it's all building to one single event, the grand finale. After all the studying and all the labs, it all comes down to the Offensive Security Certified Professional Exam. This is it, the ultimate test.
24. That's how many hours you get. One straight 24-hour period. It is an absolute beast of a challenge, testing not just your technical skills, but your mental stamina. There are no hints. There's no help. It's just you and the network.
Your mission is simple enough on paper. Hack a bunch of machines, get root access on them, and grab these little proof files as trophies. But here's the catch. That's only half the battle. You can hack every machine in the network, but if you can't prove exactly how you did it in a professional-grade report, you fail. In the end, this whole thing isn't just about what you know. It's about how you think. It's about how you react when you're staring at a problem that feels absolutely impossible. It's all about that one simple, powerful mindset. So the only real question left is, do you have what it takes to try harder?